Have you ever felt like your day-to-day is so mundane? Certainly, there's nothing wrong with the mundane, but time after time, it started to eat me alive. I know my lifestyle is naturally tuned towards something dark and gothic, but sometimes I do unconsciously ignore my inner self and just doom scrolling to no end. Then boredom made me watch videos of how to make life more whimsical. The idea sounds fun, but of course, I want to adapt those whimsical suggestions to fit my lifestyle as well. So I'm here to share with you, darkly inclined gothic loving people, some easy ways to make your life a bit more like a gothic protagonist. I categorize my suggestions, per se, into 7 categories, which are small habits, creating the atmosphere, fashion, the art of learning, places to visit, cool projects, and random activities. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. First category, small habits you can sneak into your daily life. These don't really require much effort. 1. Drink from a special cup or glass. I have this skull cup named Mary that I often use for my morning coffee. I greet him every time I use him, and it just makes my life feel a bit more spooky. Or I have this cup that is kind of shaped like a wine glass, and holding it makes me feel a bit more dramatic. 2. Eat from elaborate plates or from beautiful silverware, unless you're allergic to silver. 3. Read by a balcony or by a window at night while occasionally sky gazing. 4. Always have a book with you like you're an absolute nerd. Instead of endlessly scrolling, you can feed your brain something you actually pick for yourself, especially something dark and macabre. 5. Wandering around in a frock, a nightgown, or, for a masculine option, a linen shirt with loose pants, basically pretending you are a Victorian ghost. 6. This kind of works when you don't have any sensitive skin or require specific treatment. When you buy everyday items and personal care items like soap, shampoo, laundry, detergent, and etc., think a bit more about the scent and packaging. I don't mean for you to go to dig for any special gothic scent, but for example, I sometimes use pomegranate scented soap because it reminds me of the goddess Persephone. An extra idea, you might want to fill your personal care items which you use every day in potion bottles or gothic style bottles. 7. Wake up very early before the sun rises to enjoy the coolness and the quietness of the dawn. 8. Admire dying or dead things like leaves, trees, flowers, and insects. 9. Light a candle. Just light a candle. 10. Add some sort of decoration like a Victorian pattern, roses, or a skull to your note. For instance, I used to study bone anatomy to improve my drawing. I mean, studying bone is already gothic in and of itself, but adding decorations make it even more extra. I also remember that one time I decorated my pills label with a skull. 11. This one is kind of obvious. Add a little black in everything. I believe most people who watch this video already tend to choose black before any other color anyway. Sometimes I take it a bit further and paint my stuff black as well, like this elegant textured notebook or this wooden tea box. 12. If you think you are capable, set your alarm to some gothic sounds like bell chimes, church organs, old clock chimes, or dark classical music like Toccata and Fugue in D minor, Totentanz, Mozart's Dies Irae, or Paganini Caprice No. 5. Trust me, it makes your morning very epic. The perk is that if you get tired of the same sound, you can always switch it up. 13. Choose a gothic name. You might just use it as a username or an alias, or it could be just a name you use for calling yourself in your head. Mine is now Casket J. Rasa. I'm still not sure what J would stand for, but I'm pretty sure the idea would strike one day. 14. Narrate your life like a gothic protagonist. When you are waiting for a bus or in a queue, you can look around and start narrating the scene as if it is the opening of a book. 15. This is linked to the previous number and might require a bit more effort, but some gothic books were narrated in a journal style. You can put dates on your note, like how it is done in Dracula or The City of Dr. Moreau. You can also create a chapter name like the Phantom of the Opera and Camilla. Alternatively, note down chapter numbers like many other Gothic books. You don't need to do this every day, but do try to narrate a part of your day in such detail that it includes conversations, lighting, and the color of the curtain. 16. Just be still or meditate. You don't need to sit in a stiff posture, no. Sometimes you might want to lie down, feel the coldness of the floor, cross your arms, and put your heart at ease. Then enjoy the stillness and a moment of slowness and calm. 17. If your area is safe, do a random night walk sometimes. It could be just a walk, or you can walk around and narrate things in your head, or try to find the history of some random places. You do you. Second category, things you do to create a brooding atmosphere. The first thing is create playlists. A lot of playlists. Some people might have playlists based on their moods. For me, I have playlists based on fashion styles and some oddly specific situations. For instance, I have my whimsy Gothic, which is ritual, Southern Gothic, and Tea Party in the Woods playlist. Yeah, I wish I could have tea in the woods that often. Number 19. Turn on Gothic or dark ambience in random moments in life. If the Gothic atmosphere, raining sounds, or ethereal soundtracks are too cliche, play old lectures or old news in the background, sometimes for mood, sometimes to really listen to them. 20. An obvious one. Decorate your place or your lair, if you may. If you don't have much budget for it, you can DIY or decorate with something simple. For example, just changing my curtains to black changed my life already. Or I have an artificial rose I got for my sister. I place it in a wine cooler bottle. I finish off some random night. 21. Create a Gothic gallery wall. Print photos of your favorite band album cover, Gothic films, Gothic cathedral, vintage posters, vintage sketches, and just slam them on the wall. One idea I'm considering doing right now is creating a gallery wall collecting images of significant people to me, and then their birth date and date of death along with their epitaph. 22. If you have space for it, create a Gothic garden. You can look at Floriography and consider which flower or plant to add. I mean, not to self-promote, but I do have a video listing more than 30 flowers representing death if you're interested. 23. Create your own cabinet of curiosities. It could be one small part of your shelf, your entire shelf, or your entire room. Fill it with things you're obsessed with, things you're learning about, and things you simply find beautiful. And now we are moving to the fashion department. Let's start the first of this section and the 24th of the entire list with something simple. Add a small piece of jewelry to your outfit. Seriously, especially if you don't dress up much, just a bracelet, a necklace, or even a keychain on your back can make a big difference. 25. Wear black lipstick, or just try. 26. DIY your clothes. There are so many videos on the internet on how to create Gothic jewelry or goth style shirts. As you know, I am pretty good at drawing, to be honest. I am not very good at those crafty projects. I am lucky I have my sister to make these beautiful bracelets for me and this Ankh keychain as well. However, what I can definitely create for myself is a painted shirt. Like I have this second-handed blazer that I painted an Ankh and this cool backbone on. This one is not exactly gothic, but I also really love this Arcane Anomaly shirt. Last up in the fashion department, dress up inspired by Gothic archetypes or icons like witches, vampires, Morticia, Nancy Downs, Eric Draven, Lily Munster, Susie Sue, or Patricia Morrison. I do sometimes dress up in sort of vampire core, and I did dress up inspired by Jack Skillington for a company Christmas party. Fourth section, things to learn, things to occupy your mind with. Number 28, learn how to dance, be it a god club dance or a ballroom dance. 29, learn how to write in cursive and in black letter. Number 30, learn anatomy, not just about humans but also animals. 31, Learn thanatology, anything relating to death and the macabre. That could be the science of death, how morticians works, funeral rituals from different cultures, death gods, or just anything else that pulls you in. 32nd, learn languages. Learning languages is not exactly goth, but just imagine what if you could read Phantom of the Opera in French, its original language, understand Moshe Thomas songs perfectly well, or just being able to gather more dark folk tales from other languages. The idea of learning extinct languages like Latin, Gothic, Old Norse, or Hittite is pretty cool. That said, not everyone can afford to spend energy on things that don't serve a practical purpose, so, as I said before, you do you. 33. Learn more about art. It could be anything from drawing, painting, writing, poetry, sculpting, or anything. For me, a Gothic lifestyle is authentic and introspective, and the act of creating an artwork encourages you to do more reflections within yourself. 34. Read up on or learn about philosophy, whether it is existentialism, nihilism, or how different belief systems view life. It helps you understand not just death, but life itself, because as you know, death isn't the opposite of life, it's part of it. Section number 5, places to go to, whether it's a trip or just for a random day. 35. First of this section, travel to a graveyard or cemetery to pay respect to the dead. 36. Go thrifting like you are looking for ancient treasure. 37. Visit museums and immerse yourself in the past, the art, and the new perspectives, especially one that vibe like Mitte Museum in Germany, the Poe Museum in the United States, the National Museum of Egyptian Civilization in Egypt, or I just found out about this Black House Museum in Thailand. 38. Visit Gothic architecture. Another obvious choice. If you're not in Europe or America, there are some Gothic influenced architectures outside of these regions. For example, Christus Kirche in Namibia, Yasuda Auditorium in Japan, or St. Joseph Cathedral in Vietnam. Or the simplest way is looking for Christian churches. Or you can explore Islamic architecture and its characteristics because Gothic architecture did take inspiration from Islamic architecture. Prominent examples would be Al Aljaferia Palace and the Great Mosque of Cordoba in Spain, but of course you can explore other places not directly Gothic, like the Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin mosques in Brunei, where they have beautiful arches and vaults. 39. Lean into your inner nerd and visit historically significant Gothic places like Whitby, where the ship Demeter brought Dracula to England, wander near Villa Diodati, and take a look at the Lake Geneva, where Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, or visit long-running goth club like Slimelight and Death Gill. Not the last section, but almost. Cool projects you might want to try. Create a gothic character either for tabletop role-playing game or LARPing. For instance, I got a chance to play a tabletop RPG in the late 80s London setting once, and I did not miss the chance to create a goth character. Meet Severina Franklin, as known as Sev, a drummer in an underground band named Wilhelmina. Yes, inspired by Wilhelmina or Mina from Dracula. Her name, Severina, was from the song Severina by The Mission. Franklin is a surname of Helen Franklin, the protagonist of Melmoth by Sarah Perry. I had plenty of fun creating a playlist of songs that she might love. Then imagine how her life was like and how her life is now that she might be an old goth in 2026. I believe this is number 41. Create a self-portrait and maybe frame it as if it's your alter ego, or like in the picture of Dorian Gray. 42. Create a commonplace book about things you love. If you're unfamiliar with commonplace books, they are personal books for collecting and organizing interesting or useful information like quotes, ideas, recipes, poems, facts, basically anything. A personal encyclopedia, if you will. I do have an idea to note down people I admire, their legacy, and also how they pass away. Number 43 might be a bit absurd. Record about things that have died, whether it is an object, a thought, or a habit, and write down its overly dramatic cause of death. Here's an example. Clear glass, cause of death, fell from a table measuring approximately 75 centimeters in height. The responsible party claims it was an accident. 44. Do a dark or gothic photoshoot. This doesn't need to be very complicated. Sometimes all you need is a dark room or dried flowers or a grain filter, like these images I randomly took some time ago. 45. Host your early to gothic party. You can either do a goth rock party or a more elegant gothic one. You may want to invite a few friends or you can party alone. Sometimes I would prepare a few drinks, dim the lights, select a playlist, and then dance my night away. 46. Gather death quotes or your favorite lines from Gothic books or songs, and then you fill them in fortune cookies, if you can bake, or turn them into cards of death for fortune telling or as daily reminders. If you can do neither, you can still write or print those out, roll the paper, and then put them in a basket or in a box for you to pick up each day. 47. Gather your favorite dark songs and then order them by published years. This makes you notice the shift of music throughout decades. Finally, we reach the last section, random things I don't know which category to put them in. 48. Play Gothic or macabre board games like Hex Effects, Arkham Horror, Mansions of Madness, or Darkest Night. Bonus points if your friend group love role playing, even when the game doesn't even require it. Or go all in and try a tabletop role playing one shot or campaign, whether it's Vampire the Masquerade or Dungeons and Dragons, especially darker gothic one like Curse of Strahd. And of course, number 49, immerse yourself in gothic aesthetic games such as V Rising, Grimm's Hollow, Layers of Fear, Dark Souls, Castlevania, and Bloodborne. And though this one might not look gothic, I enjoy Spiritfarer, a game where you need to send the souls to the afterlife. It is a very cozy game, but emphasizes a lot about the concept of death and letting go. The next one is to create gothic or a dark bouquet filled with dark colored flowers like black dahlias, dark red roses, hellebores, or flowers that have darker meanings like rhododendrons, which mean danger or beware. Rhododendrons are also flowers that appeared in Rebecca at the Mandalis estate. Number 51. Take a picture of you or someone, especially when slightly dressed up in a dark gothic fashion. Turn that image to black and white or sepia, and then place it in a locket to carry it along with you. 52. Cook black colored food or dishes inspired by darker themes. You can also learn about the magical properties of herbs and cook as if you're brewing a potion. Number 53. Write your own epitaph, and you might be surprised at the amount of inspiration you found from the previous epitaph writers. Or if you're up for it, you might want to try writing an obituary. Number 54. Finally, the last one. Write a random letter with or without the intention to send it. It can be melancholic confession monologue, as if you're a Gothic book protagonist. And that's 50 something things to do to make your life feel more Gothic. How many of these do you actually consider doing? How many of these have you already been doing? Or are there any more cool ideas you want all the goth and the darkly inclined to try? Tell us more in the comment section. For me, I'm thinking this year I'll do a shout out for creators or artists or anyone who is doing something dark and gothic. It won't be a full section like how other creators showcase their sponsors, just a short shout out. If you're interested, I'll put my email in the description, and of course, you can find my email through my channel page. In case you're curious, the short shout out is free because cool gothic updates are fun. That's all for me for now. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next journey. I know this would be a long video, but I hope you guys have and enjoy being a bit more dramatic in life.